Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
I think I'm going to send this to the Senate Democrats like Feinstein and Blumenthal and others. I can't play stupid with you. You're way too good at it. Good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a Patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning. And a good morning to you. Zeb at the Ranch on a Thursday already. Holy cow. Thursday, September 27th, the last Thursday of this month. And, of course, we're brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with the big fall tire sale going on right now. And, of course, don't forget some of our outstanding advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning, Zeb. How are you doing?
My friend, I'm good, thank you.
Yes, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
By the way, Jerry, thank you very much for the card. That was very nice of you, and I appreciate it.
Well, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.
I appreciate that, Jerry.
Your audience be blessed.
Okay.
By a wonderful, wonderful Lord.
Thank you, sir. Very well said. Thank you. And right now, we're going to run to the weather forecast. And the weather brought to you by K&R Rental. Hello, Roger. At 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn, right there on the Burley-Paul Highway. And they've got all the excavators and they got all the tillers. You know, now's the time to get those gardens all tilled up, rolled up, and ready for next spring, I'll tell you. They've got all the equipment you need and the tools to get the job done. If you're not sure what you need, give them a call. Talk to them. They can help. They will help at K&R Rental on the Burley-Paul Highway. And, of course, the number 678-3122. Right now, here's the weather.
We're going to have another beautiful day here in the valley as we do get closer to the weekend. Here's a look at your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. Sunny skies, and we are expecting a high of 77 today. Winds are going to be light out of the west, right around 6 miles an hour. Winds could gust as high as 20 miles an hour today. Tonight, mostly clear skies with a low of 43. Tomorrow, even better. Expecting sunny skies with a high of 82. Mostly clear for Friday night, expecting a low of 45. By Saturday, mostly sunny with a high of 83. Saturday night, some clouds are going to be rolling into the valley. We're expecting a low of 51. Partly sunny and 70 for Sunday. And as we go back to work on Monday, mostly sunny and 74. That's your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. And right now, I'd like to remind you again that for all your tools and equipment on long or short-term lease, they can help you at K&R Rental. 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn. I said, right on the Burley-Paul Highway. There's no way you can miss them. I guarantee it. And if you want to give them a call, Roger and the crew get there early in the morning at 7 a.m. at K&R Rental, 678-3122. Oh, Oh, boy, I think it's time to find out what's going to be happening over at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Merv May, come on in here. How are you?
He gets the steer calves. They're here to get $31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5.
Oh, that's the chant of the world's best doggone auctioneer, and that's Merv May over at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. The sale that works for you. I mean, they really help you. Merv May, Cade Rogge, and Lance Judy. And the number to call for cattle consignments and sale information, 678-9411. Sale time today at 10 a.m. Here's a partial run of what's going through the ring today. Jared Schrenk's bringing in 42 head of 600 to 800 pound yearlings. Hello, Jared. And Gary Jones up at Elmo, 35 head of yearlings. The Ward Dairy's bringing in 100 head of 700 to 850 pound Holstein steers. And we've got Pat Rogers over to Declo bringing in 15 head of calves. Tracy May of Rupert, 16 head of calves. And Dusty Patton over there at Gooding. I love that name. Sounds like an old cowboy name, doesn't it? Dusty Patton bringing in a trailer load of mixed cattle. The Brackets out there at Three Creek bringing in 2 semi-loads of cows, and then we're going to have butcher cows from Antelope Hills Dairy. Let me say Antelope again. It sounds better if you say it right. Antelope Hills Dairy, Acme Dairy, Funk Dairy, and TLK Dairy. You bet. Sale time at 10 a.m. this morning at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, with the number 678-9411. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, he gets the steer calves. They're here to get $31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 135, 50, 135 and a half, selling $35. Zeb Mel gets bottom again.
Oh, I tell you what, don't mind that price at all. Good price, good price. We've got a lot of things that we have to talk about this morning, and I'm going to get into the Kavanaugh hearing right after this. I would like to say a big thank you and shout out to our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric. Do you realize 6 decades, 60 years of service to you? Wow. I mean, there's some businesses that are lucky if they go 6 years or some 6 months, but 60 years? Wow, that's impressive. For all your heating and cooling and electrical needs, it's Ramsey Heating and Electric. And the nicest of people and the most knowledgeable serving you at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. The number to call, 678-0459. They're open 7:30 to 5, Monday through Friday. Ramsey Heating and Electric. You get a hold of the best today. Caller, I'll be right there momentarily. I want to remind everybody, too, about Denny's Restaurant. Good eating. I tell you what, makes me drool because I love the food. They are so nice, great servers, nice people. Denny's Restaurant, known as America's Diner, and that's true. 611 North Overland in Burley, and another location at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. Don't you forget, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Anytime, all the time, they are there to serve you at Denny's Restaurant. America's Diner, 611 North Overland in Burley, the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
I want to invite everybody out to the Senior Center today for lunch. We're having hamburgers and potato salad and green salad. Cook's choice on dessert. Haven't decided, but it'll be good.
It'll be yummy.
That's tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
We're smorgasbord and all the trimmings and yummy dessert tomorrow.
Okay.
They need some volunteers help in the morning from about 8 to 11. Put out the Meals on Wheels. If anybody can find the time, well, they sure would appreciate it.
All right, Joe, I appreciate that over at the Senior Junction. And, Joe, I very seldom ever ask you anything other than what you're talking about, the Senior Junction. But quickly, in your very succinct way, what about these hearings against Judge Kavanaugh, et cetera? What are your thoughts?
Oh, it's just a bunch of garbage.
That's exactly a good way to put it. Thank you, Joe. God bless you, the yummy man. Take care and have a wonderful weekend, my dear friend.
Thank you. You do the same. Bye.
All right, buddy. Thank you very much. Nice man right there, Joe Taylor. I appreciate him. Well, okay, let's get into it. This morning is a glaring example of how absolutely stupid and a complete waste of time all of this garbage is in regards to the so-called accusers of Brett Kavanaugh. Now, I'm going to read you some of the headlines that were sent to me this morning on stories regarding the testifying in front of the Senate this morning. All right, here's one. Ex-boyfriend of third Kavanaugh accuser had filed a restraining order against her. Okay, that's one. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Another one is the media is losing their credibility over the Kavanaugh allegations. As a matter of fact, the media spent over 305 minutes in condemnation of Brett Kavanaugh and supporting Ms. Ford, and the media in total only gave about 20 minutes. Wow, 305 to 20 in giving Kavanaugh any kind of fairness on their broadcasts. That is absolutely ridiculous. All right, let's take another headline. New Kavanaugh accuser comes forward, but her story has major holes. This one, read the vile threats Chuck Grassley and his staff are getting over Kavanaugh. Or how about this one? Exclusive. Mark Judge vehemently denies latest round of sexual assault allegations from attorney Avenatti's client and won't testify publicly. I mean, the list goes on and on. And these are just, oh my goodness, I got about 10 or 12 on this list of headlines in regards to the sleaze that's going on back in Washington, D.C. Now, it's going to be today a three-ring circus. And even the elephants and the monkeys are not laughing about this, let me tell you. It's a joke, but it's not funny. The hearings are going on now as we speak. Ms. Ford and Judge Kavanaugh. And I can't call them anything but the sleaze hearings. They will be of no value to anyone. What good can come out of this? Let's talk about that for just a minute. Think about this. It's only going to be public opinion. That's it. Public opinion. Oh, gee, I thought Ms. Ford was excellent. Why, I could tell by the way she answered the questions that she absolutely is telling the truth and Judge Kavanaugh is a pervert. Or, I absolutely saw that Ms. Ford and her allegations weren't worth the powder to blow them up and Judge Kavanaugh should be on the Supreme Court. That's basically all that's going to take place out of this. There is no criminal court. There is no jury. There is nobody that at the end of these hearings is going to say, here's your handcuffs, report to jail. It's nothing like that. This is, in my way of thinking, until somebody tells me wrong, a complete disaster and a waste of time, only supported by the Democrats to delay an appointment to the Supreme Court. Somebody prove me wrong. I mean, the number one thing that I'm getting out of this by the Democrats, and I was so mad last night when I heard Democratic Congressman Chris Coons get on television and make the statement that Kavanaugh has to prove his innocence. Folks, that's not how it works. In our system of law, you and him and me are all innocent until proven guilty. And these idiots, and that's what they are. My grandmother used to say idiots. Those idiots don't know what they're talking about. Well, these idiots don't know what they're talking about. They, the Democrats, are twisting and turning and manipulating a change in our legal system, and nobody's firing back. Nobody is saying, wait a minute, that's nonsensical. You are innocent until proven guilty, and when somebody makes an accusation against you, you are not the responsible party to go ahead and prove your innocence. No. Calls are welcome, 436-2244. 1-866-927-4587. I think Grandma was right when she said idiots. They're all idiots back there. I tell you what, I'm beginning to have her words are coming back. Then my other grandmother used to just shake her head, and she'd say, ay, 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 ay. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation with Nick Greenwell and all of his very, very accomplished professional staff of physical therapists ready to serve you at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. And whether you're recouping from a surgery or whether you've had an accident or maybe high school sports, you got a bump and a bruise and everything else, well, go there because they can and they will help you with the best of treatment. And they are the only ones that have that hydrotherapy pool. Boy, I've walked a million miles in that thing, and it really helps. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. I urge you to call and make an appointment today at 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Really good people. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And just before I start taking your calls, I also want to remind you on Tuesdays, we have what's called the Stotz Equipment Ag Minutes, and really interesting conversations with Vic, the manager over there at Stotz Equipment Company, your John Deere dealer, at 119 Overland in Burley. Wow, I tell you, they provide the best of products, the best of service. They are really, really good folks. Stotz Equipment Company, your John Deere dealer, they do make your life easier. All right, callers, you are welcome. Give me a jingle on the landline, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Some of the senators, and I really want to emphasize this, the phoniness, the absolute phoniness of some of these senators being critical in a very hypocritical way. Some of the senators, like Dianne Feinstein. Okay, let's talk about good old Dianne. For years, she employed a Chinese spy. Oh, I had no idea. Richard Blumenthal. Hang on, caller. I'll be right there, I promise. Richard Blumenthal. Remember Richie? Oh, I'm sure you do. A couple of years ago when it was found out that Richard Blumenthal lied about his service in Vietnam. Oh, and then Senator Tom Carper, Democrat again, he's going to be asking questions today like he's holier than thou and sitting up on the throne of omnipotency. Tom Carper beat his wife. These are not allegations made by me. These are facts. And these senators are very sleazy. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, Zeb. I listened to a little bit of the president's address last night, and I thought it was really high class of him. Instead of immediately jumping to the aid and saying, no, he didn't, and painting himself into a corner, excuse me, I have that wrong. He said, no, I don't know if these ladies are lying. Somebody asked him, do you think these ladies are lying? And accusations are false. Instead of jumping to conclusions and saying, no, they are. He said, I'm just going to listen and see what goes on. Yeah. I can't judge this. It's not my place. And I thought it was high class of him. And I like how instead of getting involved and jump to conclusions like Obama did about everything, he says, you know what, it's not my place. Basically saying, you know what, it's not my place. Let's see how this plays out. Let's see what goes on here. And I think that's really high class of him and going to get him a lot more votes later on, but it also makes him look like a true president instead of somebody who's just interfering with everything else. Well,
I agree with you, Riley, but I'll tell you what, if the American public and you and I and everybody else, part of that phrase, the American public, cannot see through this really kind of a phony, hokey-pokey smokescreen put up by the Democrats. You know as well as I do, Riley, you're a sharp young man. You know as well as I do why they're doing this. They're trying to delay the appointment of Brett Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court because they do not want to have to overcome the obstacles of trying to replace others in the future, and they will not have power in the Supreme Court. The liberals and the left are just absolutely scared to death they're going to lose their power hold on the Supreme Court.
Well, they've spent how many years getting, the liberals have spent how many years getting their people in there? And that's what bothers me about the Supreme Court to begin with.
Hold on just a second, Riley. Wheels, you got to ride that gain. When he's talking, you got to turn him up. I can't hardly hear him. Go ahead again, Riley.
That's what's so frustrating about the Supreme Court to me. It is supposed to be blind justice. There is not supposed to be a one-sided deal. And this has been a one-sided deal for decades.
Absolutely.
And you can't tell me that there's not a special interest in most of those people there. And I don't care if they're liberal or not. It's frustrating that they can be on there for such a long term, and it seems like they can be swayed one way or the other to make the decisions they make.
Yeah.
And I was afraid for the longest time the Supreme Court was going to get overran by liberals to the point that they would come after not only our Second Amendment rights, but our First Amendment rights. And then, where are we going to be?
Yep. You summed it up very succinctly, Riley. I've got another call waiting, and I've got to take it, but you did a great job. I appreciate it. Thank you for your call this morning. All right, sir. Caller number 2, you're on the air. Go for it.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
I want to give you my scenario of how this all got started. At the minute that Kavanaugh was nominated by President Trump, these Democrats, these sleazy slime balls, decided to go to work on what they could do to trash him. And what I think, and this probably goes to 2012, this woman went to this therapist because she's a damn nut, and she spilled out this story. Well, this therapist, probably being a Democrat, was able to come forth with this and say, hey, I think I got something.
Yeah, but wait a minute, Keith. And let me ask you a question to save time and answer this. What good, underline the word good. Now, you're a sharp guy, okay? What good or what knowledge or what is going to show in one way or the other positivity or negativity about Brett Kavanaugh? What good can possibly come out of these hearings this morning?
Not one single thing.
Bingo, you win the prize.
Yeah. And I believe that this thing was set up, and they had all these backups, like this stupid Avenatti and that, who have come forth, and they just keep throwing stuff at the wall thinking it's going to stick. And it hasn't done. You know,
you're very right on what you said. And I was reading the story. I got to share this quickly with you. I don't know if you know this or not. This latest nutcase called Julie Swetnick, the third accuser of Judge Brett Kavanaugh. Listen to this. Her ex-boyfriend accused her of, let's see, I got to read this all here. He says she is not credible at all. He had a restraining order against this person because she's absolutely a kook. And then this attorney, Avenatti, tries to take her on as a client to march her, hopefully, on his regard, into another hearing to try to dispel any good about Judge Kavanaugh. These are the kind of crazies that are coming out of the woodwork, Keith.
Yes, and this Ford woman, she's never come forth with what she felt because she didn't want anybody to see what she really looked like. She said, keep using that picture of an attractive young lady with sunglasses. And this woman looks like a hoot owl with them big, ugly glasses.
Well, I don't care what her looks look like. I don't care anything about that. I'm not here to disparage her looks. I'm not here to disparage anything about her except the truth. The truth. That's all that matters. It doesn't make any difference about her looks, doesn't make any difference about what she does for a living or not do for a living, doesn't make any difference about her family situation, her husband, etc., or past financial problems, doesn't make any difference. It's what they are going to say under oath in front of the Senate hearing that makes all the difference, and you know it as well as I do. But when it all comes down to the end and they close the book and they turn off the microphones at this hearing, I'll go back to the original question. What good is this time spent today?
Okay, this is my take on it from the minute I seen her. This woman is not credible.
Well,
that was, without her saying a word,
yeah.
That was my summation.
It's just that we can't speculate. I'm willing to give her 30 minutes, hour, 2 hours of fame, if you will, testifying. But as far as these other kooks and crackpots that are out there sitting on the end of a tree branch ready to fall off on their noggin, I give them no time, no credence whatsoever. But, Keith, you're not going to have anything happen after today. The Democrats had their minds made up not to vote for Kavanaugh in the first place. And then you got rhinos, Republican in name only, like Jeff Flake and some others. They don't have a clue as to what's good, bad, or indifferent. They're like the Clint Eastwood movie, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. They haven't got a clue. They shouldn't even be in the Senate.
They even got one there that says he served in the military, and he did not.
No, we talked about him, and that his name is Blumenthal, Richard Blumenthal. Yeah. He is an absolute liar because he lied about his service in Vietnam and to what extent he was in Vietnam. He might have been a visitor for 48 hours at the most. And then Tom Carper, another Democratic senator, guilty of beating his wife, and I'm not making these things up. That's bona fide fact, and they're going to play God in questioning Kavanaugh. This is ridiculous.
Well, when you throw stones at somebody like that, you better know who you're throwing them at.
You better. There you go. God bless you for your call, my dear friend. Thank you so much.
You bet. Let's get them, dog.
Okay, thank you. Don't forget, Ramsey Heating and Electric, we're very proud to offer service you can trust, along with Lennox products that help keep you comfortable and save you money, too. Don't forget, Ramsey Heating and Electric is offering up to $1,600 in rebates on qualifying equipment purchases, so call them today and find out more, 678-0459. Don't forget, Ramsey Heating and Electric, over 60 years of serving you. Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I was listening to Brit Hume, a broadcaster that's been broadcasting politics for many years for quite a few networks. And I absolutely agree with him that the Democrats probably will have more negative, disgusting people to trot out regardless of who the nominee for the Supreme Court might be. It's almost like an assembly line of triple X rated. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
You know something? When you were a young boy, Deb, you know, you were just running around, enjoying yourself, having fun. You weren't concerned about whether or not you were going to get some attention. I'm telling you, we are the ADHD society, and all we live for is attention. This ballsy Ford, you know, it's like they're dying for attention, but in the meantime, they're willing to destroy a man's life on innuendo. There's no corroboration on any of this, and they don't care. I mean, I could accuse somebody of something so heinous, and then, you know, they just believe the first person who opens their mouth.
Yep. You know, Randy, right there, you make an excellent point that needs to be discussed a little bit. Accusations to give these people their so-called 15 minutes of fame. And I go back to what I said earlier in this hour, and I want you to comment on it. What possible good, bad, or ugly will come out of these hearings? All the Democrats have their minds made up not to vote for Kavanaugh. All the other people still are just sitting there going, well, I don't know, I don't care. What good is going to come out of this? Tell me quickly.
Well, I tell you what, nothing. The only good of it is unless the American people realize, and I don't see how anybody who knows anything wouldn't realize this is such a sham.
Yeah.
That they, you say to yourself, well, this is going to backfire on the Democrats. And what it comes down to is whether or not he's confirmed or not, I don't know. I guess it comes down to me praying and the rest of us praying for it. But the midterms, are we going to show up? And it isn't Idaho. It's everybody else in this country. And you say to yourself, the people know better. I don't know them.
I'll tell you one thing. It is Idaho. It is your neighbors. It is Magic Valley. It is the state of Idaho. It's Utah. It's Wyoming. It's Massachusetts. It's everywhere. You got to ask yourself one question. Do we want to go back to a horrendous Obama administration regulations, rules, higher taxation, more granting of special rights to certain groups of people over the rest of us, gun control issues, maybe the dissolving of the Second Amendment, maybe even the dissolving of the First Amendment of our Constitution? If we want to go that way, then follow the Democrats right over the cliff. But if not, you better go vote this November, because they are trying with all their hearts to take over and control us.
Yeah, we've got to show up. I just can't imagine how anybody wouldn't realize. Everywhere I go, we're hiring. We need help. We're trying to find some people to do the job. We got so much work we can't even do it. I mean, what would you rather have? The petrified fear of 08, 09, and 10, or what's going on here?
Absolutely. I'm just very concerned about what's going to happen today, because I know what's going to happen. Nothing except more spreading of hate, animosity, and complete contempt for anybody that would absolutely stand up against the great big Democratic machine of sleaze. If you want to run for office, you're a great family man, you've got a tremendous resume, and you're going to run for the Supreme Court, or you're going to run for the Senate, or you're going to run for the Congress, whatever. The Democrats are out there, and they're evil enough to throw anything that'll stick on the wall. You know that.
Lindsey Graham has been stating things as they should be said. And you say to yourself, what would it hurt for Crapo and Risch and Simpson
to
say, hey, this is a wrong, this is a sham. Where are our men from Idaho?
There you go. There you go. You've hit the nail on the head, and I'm mad about it. Because, when they wanted something and they were running for re-election, or they had some purpose that they wanted to announce something to you, the constituents that support them, oh boy, Zeb, can you get us on the air? Oh boy, Zeb, can you put us on at this time slot? Oh boy, Zeb, can you bend your schedule so that we can get them on? Where are they now, Randy?
I don't know where they are. They're not going to get voted out. They're the most gutless SOBs. I'd like to look them in the face and say, can't you say something? Can you not say something?
All right, I got another call waiting, my friend, but I appreciate your call this morning as always. Thank you very, very much. Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. Don't forget Berry Equipment and Rental. Oh, boy, have they got all the equipment. I'm telling you, they've got all that big Doosan equipment. We're going to have them on the air later on this morning. Juan's going to be on the program with us. They've got all the great big Bobcat excavators and the little bitty Bobcat excavators. They got everything, all the sizes, all the shapes. And if, like I say every day on the program, if you don't know how to run this stuff, don't worry about it. They'll teach you. They got a sandbox right out behind the business. And very nice people to help you, whether you're renting or whether you're purchasing. Berry Equipment and Rental, 159 West Highway 30 in Burley, and then another location at 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and the Nampa location. Please, please understand that they want to help you. And by the way, on the Bobcats right now, 0% interest up to 60 months on Bobcats. You check it out. Give them a call. Stop in and see them today. Berry Equipment and Rental. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, Zeb. You know, this is nothing new. The Democrats have been out to restrict our rights on everything we do for years. They don't like the Second Amendment. They don't like the fact that some of us don't agree with their abortion ideas. They don't like the fact that Planned Parenthood, to some of us, is an abomination to the world. They don't like the idea that some of us don't care for what the United Nations does and, you know, the atrocities they've caused in their history. And it's just a repeat of everything over and over and over. And I'm so sick of the crap, I just almost can't stand it.
Well, I'm with you, but yet I have to wallow into the mire with these people because I'm going to fight them. And Jerry, it's wrong to assume, I'm not talking about you, but it's wrong to assume that the Democrats here are any different. I mean, we've got to look at some of these Democrats and say, okay, if you don't like what the Blumenthals and what the Feinsteins and the Schumers and the Durbins are doing, why don't you speak up? Why don't you speak out and let other people know that you don't go along with their sleazy platform? But they won't do it, Jerry.
And I don't think they disapprove of it. I think they like it, and I think it's insane.
No question. No question. This, I'll ask you the same thing.
The way I've set it up, I'm going to be in bad trouble with some of my cousins right now.
Oh, you're tough enough to take it on, Jerry. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I'm going to fight it to my last horrible breath.
All right. God bless you, my dear friend. Thank you.
You have a wonderful day, and may the Lord bless you and all your young people that are listening.
All right. Thank you very much, Jerry. I appreciate it. I tell you, it is frustrating to the point where we're really, and I used this the other day on the air, and I think it's really true, we got our boot heels on the edge of a cliff. And the Democrats and the left are pushing and pushing and pushing, and we're about ready to fall into a huge abyss. Am I worried? You better believe it. I'm going to do all I can with this position here on the radio to fight them and thwart them and their completely wrong ideology to change America into what I would think would be another, not more than, third world country. And I'm not going to weaken. I'm going to keep attacking them like they're attacking all the values and good that this country's provided for over 250 years. I got to pay some bills here real quick before I get too far out on the limb. And the weather. Got to get the weather on here real quick. Weather forecast brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, and they are located right behind the Minidoka Hospital across from the emergency room. Now, you know where they are. Now I'm going to give you the number to call for a hearing screening. If you're having a depletion of your hearing skills, Give them a call. They can and they will help you. They help me. 312-0957. 312-0957. Dr. Pickup and Dr. Mitchell, they are dedicated to your hearing health. Please call them at 312-0957. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
We're going to have another beautiful day here in the valley as we do get closer to the weekend. Here's a look at your weather forecast for Zebeth Ranch. Sunny skies, and we are expecting a high of 77 today. Winds are going to be light out of the west, right around 6 miles an hour. Winds could gust as high as 20 miles an hour today. Tonight, mostly clear skies with a low of 43. Tomorrow, even better. Expecting sunny skies with a high of 82. Mostly clear for Friday night, expecting a low of 45. By Saturday, mostly sunny with a high of 83. Saturday night, some clouds are going to be rolling into the valley. We're expecting a low of 51. Partly sunny and 70 for Sunday. And as we go back to work on Monday, mostly sunny and 74. That's your weather for Zebeth Ranch.
Thank you very much, Gina. And don't forget Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. They really are dedicated to serving people with hearing loss of all ages and their families. Wonderfully nice people over there. Let me tell you, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And the number, 312-0957. Want to also remind, this is an absolutely great idea by Holly Rowe and the staff at Minnecasia Hearts for Seniors. I love this idea at 135 East 23rd Drive in Burley. And if you're a senior and you want to stay at home, all you have to do is call Holly at 312-5715 because they offer personal assistance in daily tasks around the house and maybe meal preparation or maybe personal hygiene and light housekeeping, all of this so you can stay home. Contact them today. Minnecasia Hearts for Seniors. Number 312-5715. I'll say it again. 312-5715. Holly Rowe, great lady. And you can also go to the website, holly@heartsforseniors.net. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, my friend.
You know, watching all this that's going on, anybody that has enough brain cells to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time can see the Democrats are desperate. They are pulling out all stops to try to stay in power.
Yep.
They can't run any legislation through the Senate and the Congress because they don't have anything that's for America, so they try to legislate from the bench.
And there's a caveat and an addendum to what you just said. And the weak-kneed, no-spine Republicans are absorbing all that they're doing.
Well, yes, they are. And I think that there are some Republicans that are Republican by initial only.
Oh, absolutely.
A Democrat in a Republican suit.
Look at Jeff Flake. I mean, if you really want to. I don't, but I mean, if you really want to. Look at him. I mean, I have never liked this guy. The people in his home state of Arizona don't like him. I know the family. I've known the family for years, and quite frankly, he's kind of the way out on the limb vulture, to heck with everything, I'm going to kill something, attitude. I just absolutely do not like what's going on with the Republican Party not having the backbone to stand up and say, if you're in the road, we're not going to drive around you, but we will drive over you.
Exactly. And the Republicans need to wake up, because when Obama took power and then they took over the Congress and they shut the government down, and the next election cycle they gained a bunch of seats.
Yeah.
They had a backbone there. They stood up, and they gained seats, even though the Democrats and the mainstream media give them 90% bad coverage on it.
Doug, right there, I'm going to interrupt you and say, I don't know how concerned you are about the midterms, but I am. I'm not saying this to be theatrical at all. I am very concerned that people are going to just stay at home with a disgusted thought in their mind, like, I'm not going to vote for any of them. They're all a bunch of sleaze. This scares me. Because by not going out and picking the candidate that they think can best reflect the values to make America great again and keep America great, we're going to get in some of the sleaziest personalities on the left, and major changes are in store for this country. Do you agree or not?
I agree. Just like that shirt I wore to the lunch bunch.
Yep.
It's trust in God, but vote Republican. Because if you want it to go back how it was under the Obama era, you want to lose your tax breaks, you want to lose have more regulation on businesses, then stay home.
Yeah.
And you'll vote Democrat if you stay home.
Got another call waiting, and you got a call there, it sounds like, too, Doug.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning. Hey, I was on YouTube. This is the Blade Doctor. I told you about YouTube chopping me off of YouTube.
Yes.
Chopping you guys off of YouTube. Anyway, I got Dianne Feinstein's daughter. I sent you an email on about her being traded to a Chinese businessman for pleasure.
Oh, there again, though, sir, unvalidated and not guaranteed facts on any story I don't promote on the air. Nothing.
The video has her daughter talking.
Well, I'll go look at it, and I'll tell you what let's do. Let's be fair about this. I'll go take a look, study it, and make some reference calls to people that I know and trust, and we'll talk about it next week if need be. But I'm not going to get into any speculation. Nothing is I don't want any more sleaze. I've got enough of that with the Democrats in these hearings. No more sleaze, unless it can be verified.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. I don't want any more triple X. I've had enough. I've had enough. I saw the Kavanaugh family, a picture of them last night on the news, and I thought, golly, look at that. Two wonderful daughters, and they're looking up at their dad, and he's got his arms around them, and his wife is standing there smiling at the camera, and that whole family this morning is absolutely being ripped apart with all this sleaze. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, I am watching this on TV and listening to you. But this statement that she's making now reminds me of a book that somebody has written, and you're reading it word for word.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't even look up. She's just focused on reading that thing, and somebody has made up all this stuff for her to read. I don't think it's coming from her heart. I think she's phony.
Well, her opening statement, they've already found, through some of the newscasters and journalists, have found that there are discrepancies and accounts that are not verifiable. So let me know what else is said over the next couple of hours, and then I can't wait to do my own follow-up. But, Keith, thank you again for your call. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, buddy. Hey, don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric offering service you can trust, along with Lennox products that keep you comfortable and might save you money. Boy, I bit my tongue and that hurt. On a scale of 1 to 10, it was a 32. Don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric offering up to $1,600 in rebates on qualifying equipment purchases. So call them today and find out more at 678-0459. Absolutely Lennox and Ramsey Heating and Electric. Over 60 years of Ramsey Heating and Electric serving you. Got time for another call. Give us a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I got to tell you this, and if it wasn't so absolutely, ridiculous, I wouldn't have even put it on the air this morning, but it almost made me laugh. It's so silly. Guess who is giving advice to Bill Cosby on how to maintain his safety in prison? O.J. Simpson. I'm sorry. The ridiculousness of what's going on in the news today. Bill Cosby gets sent up to prison for 3 years. He's 81 years old, still gets sent to prison, which I think is good. He's a convicted sexual predator, and O.J. Simpson jumps into the fray and says, well, Bill, here's what you need to do to stay safe in prison. Oh, my goodness. Don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers with a big fall tire sale going on right now. Oh, my goodness, all 7 locations with the best of tires, all the different tread designs, all the sizes, all for you. Stop in for your car, pickup, SUV, trailers, whatever. They've got all the tires right there that you need. Absolutely. Along with the best in brake service with highly trained brake technicians, and that's the truth. Boy, those folks are good. Front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries. And the greatest of service. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley. Yup, the best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Wow. Busy morning, and it's going to be an interesting day. Unfortunately, it's not about the betterment of the country. It's not about our economy that is growing and progressively every day getting better. It's not about our nation's security. It's not about the good things that this country is involved in right now. It's about the sleaze. It's about the absolute sleaze that's going on in Washington, D.C. and the destruction of a good man, a good family, and his possible seat at the Supreme Court. We're going to take a little break and come back in about 7 minutes. Don't go away, Zeb at the Ranch. Wheels, take it away, buddy. Thanks. Away we go. Hour number 2 on this Thursday, September 27th. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with the big fall tire sale going on right now. And don't forget, too, some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. We're going to go to the Chamber of Commerce in just a few moments and have that report, but I want to remind you about some wonderful, wonderful people that really care about you and your family, and that's Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert. The number to call, 436-5636. Nobody wants to talk about funerals. Nobody wants to talk about death and dying, but it's a part of life. And to eliminate a lot of the stress and worry for our families, we all should take the time to find out about pre-planning of funerals, and you can if you'll just get a hold of our friends at Hanson Mortuary. Joel Heward, his family, and his staff, 436-5636. Please call today, and they always treat you with the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. Hanson Mortuary. And don't forget, too, Joel Heward also serving you at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. Want to remind you, too, about some other great folks that really care, and they're taking care of your animals with the best of animal health. Yep, whether you got itty-bitty kitty cats or whether you got a great big bunch of dairy cattle, horses, whatever the case might be, I'm talking about people that really care at Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union in Hayburn. You know, they've been voted Minnecastia's best veterinary hospital for multiple years, and Dr. Bill and Dr. Jordan and the whole staff, they really want your animals healthy and stay that way. So please get a hold of them today at Ark Animal Hospital near Connection Credit Union at 750 21st Street in Hayburn, 678-1177. They do have the warm hearts for the cold noses. Right now, I don't know about cold noses over at the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce, but good morning. How are you, Sarah?
Good morning, Zeb. I'm doing wonderful. How are you today?
Peachy, beautiful fall day. It sounds like it's going to be a wonderful weekend. I know you're all amped up and ready to go. The batteries are charged, so take it away.
All right. We have a lot going on this next couple weeks. A couple dates that I'd like to remind you of. Our Ambassador Luncheon is held every month at Maury's Steakhouse. This one coming up in October will be Wednesday, October 10th. It's at noon. If you're not an ambassador yet and your business is part of the chamber, or you're interested in becoming a part of the chamber, just get over here to the chamber and get in touch with us. We can show you how to do that and let you know what all's going on in our community. Also, our monthly luncheon is held every second Thursday of the month, and this next month it's going to be Thursday, October 11th, so mark that on your calendar. Our photo contest is still running. We're going to run this all the way until February. So we want your summer pictures, your fall pictures, your winter pictures, anything that you have of our area. We would love to see it. Winners are going to be hung in our visitor center for an entire year. They're also going to get some chamber cash and just have an opportunity for those photos to be seen on our website and in our promotional materials. If you have any great pictures, just send them on over. We had a great opportunity to go and see the Legislative Summit last week with our leadership class. And it was a really awesome time to get a little bit more knowledge about what's going to be on the ballot. So if you have any questions, go to our website. I'd love to hear from you. Send me an email about anything that's going on in the Valley, and we'll get your voice heard as much as we can. We're getting ready to do our annual installation banquets coming up the end of January, first part of February. If you're interested in any sponsorship or donations, get in touch with us here at the Chamber. All right, we've got some member events coming down. Young Automotive Group right here in Burley is going to do a grand reopening celebration tomorrow, September 28th, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. They're going to have food and speakers, and they're going to cut the ribbon right around 11:30. It's going to be a great time. Come on out and support Young Automotive Group. Kaja Intermountain Regional Hospital is also going to be doing a great volunteer opportunity this weekend on Saturday, September 29th. From 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. It's going to be right in their parking lot, and this, I think, is a great opportunity. They've partnered with Sleep in Heavenly Peace, which builds handmade bunk beds for children who don't have beds of their own. So if you have an opportunity to have a little bit of free time on Saturday, go over there to Kaja Regional Hospital right in Burley and help build these beds. If you can't make it and would still like to donate, go to shpbeds.org. $300 is all it takes to build one of those bunk beds. So it's a great opportunity to give back to the kids in our community. Over in Rupert, they're going to be holding auditions for the Little Shop of Horrors production this weekend, September 28th and 29th. If you're interested in that, contact Chris over at the Wilson Theater. Also, we're so excited for that Harry Potter experience. It'll be the end of October, the 25th, 26th, and 27th. Tickets are on sale now. You can pick them up in the theater office or online at their website. We have a Business After Hours coming up October 5th, hosted by Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane & Company, right there at 1710 Overland in Burley. It'll be October 5th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. They're going to have food provided by Maury's Steakhouse. They're going to have D11s, a couple other banks there. It's going to be a super great time to just learn a little bit more about their company and network and meet some more people in our community. Hayburn is going to be holding their Riverton Pumpkin Festival Saturday, October 6th from 12 to 5 p.m. at Centennial Park in Hayburn. They're going to promote lots of safety. They're going to have a band, raffles, prizes, free hamburgers and hot dogs. It's going to be such a fun event. I'm so excited to take my kids out to that one. Again, if you have any jobs that you have available in your businesses or are looking for a job, we're posting those on our website now. You can contact us here at the Chamber to list those, or just jump over to our website and check it out, www.minikajachamber.com. We're located at 1177 7th Street in Hayburn, right next to the beautiful Snake River. And you can call us anytime. Our hours are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Phone number is 208-679-4793.
Breathe in, breathe out, and repeat as often as necessary.
That's right.
Do you have a groaner for me today?
I do have one. Are you ready for it?
I am sitting here holding on to the chair.
It's a good one. So, Zeb, how do cattle do math?
How do cattle do math? I don't know.
Well, with a calculator, of course.
Oh, that is a groaner. Thank you. Okay, I'll leave you with one. I'm going to fire back at you when you have these.
Right.
What did the Ozark redneck do when he found out he was being promoted from 2nd grade to 3rd grade?
What did the Ozark redneck do? I have no idea. What did he do?
Well, he got so doggone excited, he cut himself shaving.
Oh, my goodness.
See you later, Sarah.
All right, thanks, Deb. Have a great day.
Chamber of Commerce, Sarah Seymour, thank you very much at the Minnecash Chamber of Commerce. Wonderful people doing a wonderful service for the community. Thank you very much. Okay, let me see where I'm at here real quick. Oh, yes, got to remind you again about our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox Products. Absolutely helping keep you comfortable. And, of course, this fall, Ramsey Heating and Electric is offering up to $1,600 in rebates on qualifying equipment purchases. That's right, so call them today and find out more at 678-0459. Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Over 60 years of service to you. Okay, let's see, in just a moment, we're going to have our great big report from Cassia Regional Hospital. I look forward to those every week. Boy, really, really nice people serving you. But before I do that, I want to remind you, too, about getting outside and having fun, going up in the hills, checking out all the fall colors and everything on an ATV from Let's Ride. Oh, yeah, I'm telling you, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. Let's Ride is open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4. All the ATVs, I do not know how they've got everything into that showroom floor. Woo! Everything for fun. And don't forget, too, they got the snowmobiles on display, too, ready for this winter with all that angel dandruff up in the hills. Hey, you check it out. All the accessories, great service department to keep you running. Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. Absolutely. This is where the fun is sold. Really good people. Okay, I believe we've got one more word here, and then I want to send you over to Cassia Regional. Stand by. Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland and Burley. You know what? They're having a closeout on certain mattresses right now, and they've got special prices on furniture, and they've got all the floor coverings to get ready for the holidays. It's right around the corner, too. Think about Thanksgiving. Aunt Martha, Uncle Fred, everybody's going to be there. So make sure your house looks really great and it's comfortable for you. Check out all the great buys at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. They're waiting right this minute to serve you at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. I'm very, very impressed with the quality people that are your friends and neighbors serving you at Cassia Regional Hospital. And right now, thanks to Wheels over at our main studio, let's learn about more of the great folks over at Cassia Regional.
People caring about you and your health care in the most professional and progressive ways. That's Cassia Regional Hospital, located at 1501 Highland Avenue in Burley. In a moment, we'll introduce you to just one of the many dedicated medical experts serving you at Cassia Regional Hospital. Today's program, right after this. Cassia Regional Hospital provides you and your family excellent health care answers and services. They're right here, close to home. That's right. Cassia Regional Hospital offers the latest technological advances in medicine, like their new oncology programs and telehealth, which uses electronic information and telecommunications to promote long-distance patient and clinical health care. Your friends, your neighbors. Cassia Regional Hospital, 1501 Highland Avenue in Burley. Quality care close to home. Good morning again, everybody, and we have a chance to meet more of the great people connected to the services of Cassia Regional Hospital. And we have Mr. Scott Butler, a paramedic at Cassia Regional Hospital, and he's going to be talking about sleep in heavenly peace. What in the world is this, Scott? Give us an exclamation.
You know, we have an opportunity to provide a very unique service for our communities, and that is that we provide beds for children that do not have a bed.
All right, and you provide beds for children that do not have a bed. How in the world do you go about finding out whether or not they have these facilities?
You know, we work with a lot of the local organizations that kind of provide names, but over the years we've developed a website that's called SHP Beds.
beds.org, and anybody can go on that website and they can volunteer their time, they can volunteer funds, or they can request a bed, and it's really that simple. They just put in their name, fill out a simple questionnaire, and that creates a request for me. We get that request in, and then we can go ahead and get those beds to those kids.
You know, Scott, this is really something in this day and age when everybody's talking about either going boating or camping or taking off on a vacation to Cancun. There really are that many children that do not have beds?
There really is. You know, it's something that we didn't even feel that was really a need. I think it's something that a lot of people take for granted, you know, something as simple as a good night's rest. But we found that over the years, we started back in 2012 right here in Twin Falls, and we are now nationwide. We have over 100 chapters. And in Twin Falls alone, we get at least one request every single day requesting a bed. And most of those requests are for usually a full bunk. So usually 2 kids, sometimes 3. We've delivered up to 3 full bunks to a house before, and that's 6 kids. That's 6 kids that were sleeping on the floor.
You know, I hate to ask or, categorize different things, lump it all together, because I'm sure every instance is different. But are these from families that are really down and out and, quite frankly, having a hard time? Give us kind of a discernment as to how you find these people and what kind of problems the families are having.
You know, that's pretty much, you hit it right on the head there. People just have a rough time sometimes, and I would say that I see a lot more applications come from single-parent households. You know, something's happened in their life that causes them to, you know, power and electricity and a place to live burns up their funds. And so a bed, you know, you go out to the store and you want to buy a bunk bed, you're looking at $1,000 for a cheap one.
Yeah.
You know, and we can provide this service for them. And the best thing about what we do is we provide the whole thing. It's not just the frame. We provide 2 beds, 2 mattresses, 2 sheet sets, 2 pillows, 2 comforters, and we are very lucky to have a lot of local groups that donate quilts, handmade quilts. And when you deliver a handmade bed with a handmade quilt, there's a special feeling there, you know? I mean, this is people's time. This is their effort to help get a kid off the floor.
You know, I got to ask you something, Scott. You and I were talking prior to this program that you knew me and your name sounded familiar and everything. How in the world did you, Scott Butler, get involved in this very worthwhile project?
That is a great question. So a bunch of us redneck hillbillies, I don't know what you want to call it, kids from Kimberly, Idaho that graduated as the class of 1996. 20 years later, Luke Mickelson, one of our, star quarterback, great basketball player, just one of those great guys that, was really involved, felt a need, heard about it through a local church group, saying, hey, we need a bed for a family. Does anybody have an extra bed? And he thought, you know what, this can't be that hard. I can make it. So he went ahead and he built one bed. They delivered it. He had some material left over. He built some more, and he put a simple request on Facebook, and that request was, hey, can anybody come and give me a hand finishing these beds? And so little by little, a few of us got involved. Hey, Luke, gosh, man, it's been forever since we've got together. Can I come over and help? And that spread. And here we are today, 2012 is where it started. We're 2018. We're across the nation, and we're providing beds.
This is amazing. I'm sitting here going, holy cow. You mean to tell me this started with an idea and a concept in Kimberly, Idaho, and now it's spread all across the nation? Tell us more about that expansion.
So last year, again, just a vision. We all thought, you know what, if there's kids in our town that don't have a bed, there has got to be kids in everybody's town. And our motto is no kid sleeps on the floor in my town. And that motto, we got contacted by, I don't know if you've heard of Mike Rowe.
Yes.
Street Jobs, Mike Rowe. So he does a new Facebook show. It's called Returning the Favor, and they contacted us last October, and kind of a weird probing phone call that, again, people want to know about what we do, and so I answered the questions, and about 2 weeks later, I got a phone call.
from a lady in New York City that was with Hudson Media Group, and she said, "Hey, we've chosen you as the insider. What can we do for you?" And when somebody asks a nonprofit, "What can we do for you?" it's endless.
Oh my
the
goodness.
ideas that run through your brain about how to further your work, how to further what you do. It was a decision that was very difficult. But one of the things we didn't really have was we didn't have a face of SHP. You know, we worked out of a very generously donated shop in Kimberly, Idaho, that was working beautiful for what we had, but for our growth and where we wanted to take SHP, we needed something a little bit bigger. We needed to be able to, host some trainings and stuff to get this across the country. And as of about 2 weeks ago, we announced our 100th chapter.
Oh, my goodness.
And the show aired back in March, and since March of 2018 this year, the expansion has been incredible.
You know what I like about this whole situation, Scott, is that I can hear in your voice the enthusiasm and the, boy, we got to do more, we can do more attitude. Quickly, with the time remaining, what is your connection, if you would please, to Cassia Regional Hospital? I know that you're a paramedic. Explain that quickly.
So I was a paramedic in Twin Falls for about 10 years, Twin Falls and Jerome counties, and I got the opportunity presented to me to come to Cassia and help them up their level of service, shall we say. We went from an EMT level service to now we are a paramedic level service to provide better care to our residents, to the people that live in Cassia County. And so that's pretty much what I'm doing here is I came over here for that, and I am super excited to be able to bring just another aspect of what I do in my life, to be able to share this passion for building beds, for getting kids off the floor.
If anyone wants to contribute, help, or whatever, what is a good number or time to reach you?
So my phone number is a great place. Unfortunately, I don't answer. I get a lot of phone calls, so if people leave me a message, it's great. But my phone number is 208-320-0052, and we would love to have everybody come out. Anybody that's willing to donate or willing to come out and serve a little bit of time, it's going to be September 29th from 9 to noon here at the Cassia Regional Hospital.
Wow. I am excited about what you're doing, Scott. And, of course, Scott is president of Sleep in Heavenly Peace, Kimberly Chapter, and also a paramedic at Cassia Regional Hospital. Thank you, Scott Butler, and I'm definitely going to have you back on the program. Thank you for being on the show.
Indeed. Thank you, Zeb, for having me.
Tune in every Thursday at 9:18 right here on Zeb at the Ranch for more about the people and the healthcare services at your Cassia Regional Hospital, 1501 Highland Avenue in Burley. Quality care close to home.
Wonderful people. And by the way, that event again this Saturday, the 29th, Scott was talking about, and with the bed making and, of course, Sleep in Heavenly Peace. We're going to have him on the air, hopefully this next week again, so we can talk more about this great, now nationwide project. Absolutely great. Don't forget, too, our friends at Cameron Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Oh, my, yes, life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, and so much more. They really care about you, your family, and your business. So all you have to do is just make a call, make an appointment, 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. They are waiting to serve you. Absolutely. I've got just a moment. I also want to remind everybody, as I quickly go through my list of things here, that Dino's Septic Service has expanded their business and, wow, to better serve you. Absolutely, septic tanks pumped and septic tanks and drain fields installed, water and sewer lines installed, those lines cleaned, liquid waste removal, all of this. And by the way, if you need any pumping done, you'd better do do it before the ground freezes. Get a hold of Dino Septic Service. They do the job that we don't want to do. I'll tell you what, give them a call in Rupert 436-6526 and in Burley 678-1638. Absolutely fast, fair, and very friendly service serving you with that big truck that says smells cargo on the way. Dino Septic Service. You get a hold of them right now. Okay, over the river and through the woods or the desert, whatever, to Rita's office we go. Rita Ramsey, are you there and ready for this morning?
She has not called in yet.
How much you want to bet before we say hardly 10 more words, that phone is going to ring? I can feel it.
It might happen, but, I might end up already creating the 10 words, which obviously
you did. By the way, real quick, Wheels, before she calls in, we still haven't got that fishing trip taken care of. We got to get that done.
No, we haven't, and I've been able to tell that it's getting a lot more chilly out.
Oh, yeah.
When we're coming to work.
Oh, yeah. Okay, now let's try this again. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, joining us on the program, the lovely Rita Ramsey. And she hasn't called in yet, right?
No, I'm still...
It's not working today. Okay, I'll give you the number, okay, and you can call her. Okay. 678-0459.
678-0459.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Earlier this week on Monday, we had a hour-long discussion on Prop 1, the horse racing issue. And then on Wednesday, we did an hour on Prop 2 about Medicaid. And we are going to, every week leading up to the November elections, we're going to be talking about Props 1 and 2 so that you are better informed and ready to, vote yay or nay on those propositions coming up in November. So don't forget that. Once again, we are waiting patiently for our dear friend Rita Ramsey to come on the program this morning so we can discuss all things political like we do every Wednesday right here on the show. Wheels, did you have any luck?
I did, sir. She was doing her duty this morning at work.
Oh, she's busy at her desk. Okay. Well, Rita, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good, thank you.
You made me very nervous and sweat a lot.
I was in the back getting some filters for one of my customers.
There you go.
Trying to get it wrapped up.
I don't even know really where to start this morning because anywhere you start, it's going to get deeper and sleazier. I think I'll just ask for your take on what's going on right now as we speak at that Senate hearing for Judge Kavanaugh.
Well, actually, I've been listening for the last hour to it. I think that we need to listen to what is said. I think we need to decide. I think that I've had a couple of questions as it's gone along. I also think, and I don't know, maybe I'm just biased because I'm so tired of the Democrats' antics and games. But my first question is, so there wasn't really damage other than scaring somebody to death and maybe getting a little bit evasive, but when kids do that kind of stuff, usually that kind of stuff is kid stuff. You know how, like, if somebody robs a bank or gets in trouble or does something like that and they're under 18, they seal the records so that the whole world doesn't know and it's not going to, affect everything forever. So that being said, I don't know all the facts, so I'm kind of like, well, I don't really know. With his record and what he has done in the past, that should be more for what is decided upon whether he should be a Supreme Court justice and what happened to him when he was 16 or 17.
I don't like, and I'm going to be very blunt here, I don't like the incendiary accusations without any validated fact. When did it happen? I can't remember. Where did it happen? Well, I'm not sure. How did it happen? And was Mr. Kavanaugh involved? Well, I think so, but I'm not quite sure. All these things are vagaries that are condemning and creating sleaze around a man whose life, quite frankly, is very, very admirable.
Well, that's the way that I feel is, first of all, if that would have happened to me, I think I would have gone to the police and said, you know what, there's probably nothing that you need to, that you really can do that is against the law unless I want to file some kind of a lawsuit personally or anything. But this needs to go on the record.
Absolutely. But I asked this question.
Go forward.
I asked this question in the first hour, and I'll ask it of you. What possible good can come out of these hearings today?
Actually, I don't know that anything can. The other big questions that I have is, he's been confirmed as a judge in a number of places. Why all of a sudden did this come up? I mean, did she, why didn't she bring it up 15 years ago and say, you know what, he's a judge and try to smear him then?
Well, the whole thing is now there's been kind of a follow the leader type thing with other accusers and some of the stories. I'm not even going to repeat on the program this morning, especially the one about Julie Swetnick that's being represented by one of the absolute sleaziest attorneys I've ever seen, that Avenatti. I'm telling you, it's almost who can make up the sleaziest, dirtiest, filthiest story, and the Democrats latch onto it and promote it.
Well, and that's just it. They're just looking for anything, and they're not looking to see if it's true or whether it can be substantiated. Or, I mean, there's all kinds of legal terms that the law uses in that case. But what it all boils down to is, first of all, why wasn't this reported to the police 36 years ago?
Yeah.
And second of all, who are the people that were involved? Their names should have been attached too. Well, and that's just the thing. Well, I'm not really quite sure, and I knew that they were making fun of me as I came down the stairs because I could hear them talking. And the prosecutor lady says, "So what were they saying?" She says, "Well, I don't know. I couldn't hear them." It's kind of like, so you just contradicted yourself.
You're right. Right.
And so I hate the thought of somebody who has been a victim of something horrific like that to be discounted, because it's not really fair. But also, if you're going to make a big deal about it and want to get to the bottom of it, you better step forward, say what's happened, have a record be made, and then say, I don't want to hear about it the rest of my life. She said that it really bothered her. It was really difficult for her to concentrate on her education, and she really had struggles. And it's kind of like, okay, so you're a psychiatric doctor and a professor, and it was hard for you to get your education?
Yeah.
Those kind of people, they're the kind of people who do well with books and things, are the ones that become professors. Not those of us that is kind of like, you know what, I just want to get out of here as fast as I can.
And it's not a hearing that's going to prove a guilt or an innocence. It's not a hearing that is really having any value except, honestly, this is my opinion, to throw mud all over the Kavanaugh nomination for the Supreme Court, absolutely disrupt and tear apart his family, his friends, all of his associates. This thing is not going to have any good value whatsoever.
Well, absolutely not. She said something like, I believed he was going to rape me, but he didn't. And so, I've been afraid that somebody might run over me, too, but they didn't, and so it's kind of like, I'm just being weird here. Like I said, I think that she was maybe a victim of a teenage thing, but I think there's a lot more to it than what happened that night, and I think that it was that the Democrats, and her as a Democratic activist of what she is,
yes,
of which she is, it's like we can just make a big splash here and damage somebody, and then hopefully we can get hold of the House, and then we'll be able to be doing the Supreme Court justice confirmations for our side. I think that's all it is it's just political.
I will say this, and I mentioned it first hour, and I'll stand behind my statement, that some of the holier-than-thou senators that are sitting in this hearing and questioning both parties have absolutely, in my opinion, no business being in there. Dianne Feinstein, she employed a Chinese spy for years. Richard Blumenthal absolutely lied about his Vietnam service. And Senator Tom Carper, guilty of beating his wife. Don't play almighty with me. These people have got a lot of holes in their screen doors, too.
Well, that's exactly right. I was having this conversation with my husband this morning before we got to work. So maybe we need to bring up the Mary Lou Kopechne, Chappaquiddick, maybe Bill Clinton, maybe Monica Lewinsky. Maybe we need to start bringing up all kinds of those things. And what about the person who we just revere as one of the greatest presidents, which he wasn't one of the greatest ones, but he was assassinated during his presidency, which was John Kennedy. He was a horrible example of someone with morals and scruples. And so they're all just so holier than thou, and yet the Republicans won't stand up and say, wait a minute, at least when our guys are doing that kind of stuff, we send them home.
Yeah. I just think that this is nothing more than a channeling device to take the Kavanaugh nomination and channel it out into a dark, murky swamp, never to be heard from again. And what's happening to his family, what's happening to his daughters. I can't even believe the trauma that they're going through at school, with their friends, with activities they're involved in, what's happening to his wife. I mean, this is absolutely horrendous. And again, I go back to the initial question, what possible good is going to come out of these absolutely sleazy hearings?
Well, absolutely nothing. And, you just know that it's all prejudice. It's all political. If this was the Democrats' person, they wouldn't say a thing. The Republicans would say that's who they want, and they would confirm them just like they've done all the rest of them. And it's really sad, because here's somebody that's going to be totally destroyed, the family, everything else, out of somebody who's made some accusations. And I'm not saying that this didn't really happen. I'm just saying these are kids, and nothing happened as far as the serious stuff. So
absolutely.
I'm sorry that she's had a life that she's had to just endure because she had this confrontation with these guys. But you know what? Just get over it and go forward.
Well, alleged confrontation.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is, I look at the Democratic Party, especially the Feinsteins, the Schumers, the Blumenthals, and they're all like great big smiling Cheshire cats. Oh, we gotcha. It's a gotcha moment. But all of this is for one purpose: to absolutely throw Trump's nominee or any nominee away from possible sitting on the Supreme Court. And the Republicans, I throw a lot of blame in their direction, and it should stick on the wall because they deserve it. They're gutless, spineless, and have not fought back.
Well, and that's the part that just makes you really mad, and that's why Donald Trump's the president and somebody else isn't, is because people are sick and tired of the Republicans just sitting on their hands saying, okay, we'll just take whatever comes. We won't stick up for anything. We won't do the people's business. We won't do anything. And they just glad to be there. That's all they are, just glad to be there, and they're not doing a thing.
Let's change gears just for a moment, and I want to talk about President Trump at the UN. He has taken a lot of criticism by the liberal left media He has taken a lot of criticism from pundits that absolutely can't understand that there's a new sheriff in town, and there is also a new respect for the presidency in our country from other countries. He set the UN on ear, and quite frankly, some of his comments I have been a long time waiting to hear. We are not going to pursue globalization. We are going to pursue being patriotic to this United States of America and make sure that it remains number one. How could anybody take issue with that statement? I think Donald Trump should be saluted for it.
Well, he should be, and I think that he really made some good statements yesterday. He reminded everybody that he was speaking to that he was there to represent the citizens of the United States of America. And he also let it be known, Canada, you know what, we don't really care about you. If you don't want to do this, you're just acting like a spoiled child. We'll go forward without you. We'll just put tariffs on your cars coming in here and see how far they get sold. And the same way, you know, when they talked about socialism, well, look at Venezuela. How's that worked out? Those people, most of them aren't having anything to eat. They're not growing, and yet it's an oil-rich nation. And socialism just hasn't worked out so well, has it? And I think that by being forward and straight and shooting just like it is, it's made a lot of people say, whoa, we better kind of watch out because this guy really does know what's going on.
Well, that's true, and his exact statement was, and I'm going to read it as a quote, that made some of the people at CNN and MSNBC absolutely tip over in their roller chairs. The quote was, America will always choose independence and cooperation over global governance, control, and domination. I can't argue with that. I think that's actually what it should be and should never change.
That's because that's the truth, and that's why we have been able to keep our freedom and liberty and why we grow and why we're the greatest nation that has ever been, is because of those very things.
Absolutely. We're going to do a weather forecast and then come back with more with my dear friend Rita Ramsey. Stay tuned. The weather brought to you this hour by Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company, providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. The best of tax return preparation, tax planning, bookkeeping services, financial statement preparation, retirement planning. Oh, the list goes on and on in service to you and your business. Don't forget they've got locations in Burley and Rupert, Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
We're going to have another beautiful day here in the valley as we do get closer to the weekend. Here's a look at your weather forecast for Zebeth Ranch. Sunny skies, and we are expecting a high of 77 today. Winds are going to be light out of the west, right around 6 miles an hour. Winds could gust as high as 20 miles an hour today. Tonight, mostly clear skies with a low of 43. Tomorrow, even better. Expecting sunny skies with a high of 82. Mostly clear for Friday night, expecting a low of 45. By Saturday, mostly sunny with a high of 83. Saturday night, some clouds are going to be rolling into the valley. We're expecting a low of 51. Partly sunny and 70 for Sunday. And as we go back to work on Monday, mostly sunny and 74. That's your weather for Zebeth Ranch.
And thank you very much, Gina. Brought to everybody by Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company, accounting services to the entirety of Magic Valley and the Mini-Cash area for over 50 years. Be sure and get a hold of them today with offices in Burley and Rupert. Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. You know, Rita, both of us remember vividly when the so-called sitcom, and I'll say so-called, I never did enjoy it. I never did watch it, maybe one or two episodes at the very most, of Murphy Brown with Candace Bergen. And they're making a remake of the same series, and I believe that Candace Bergen, of course, is going to star in it again. She must be all of, 110 years old by now. It wasn't funny the first time around. It was very liberal and very pro-Democrat, and it's going to be even more so this time, and they have admitted they're going to be attacking this administration and specifically President Trump. What are your thoughts?
I think they'll probably find out that it doesn't do well in the ratings, and it probably won't live for very long, because those kinds of things might have been, the thing in the day, but there is so much other entertainment and so many other alternatives for you to do that that kind of stuff just does not carry. And people who do TV should know that when you start doing stuff that attacks the majority of the nation, and that will, because the majority are people who it's kind of like, you know what, we like what the president's doing, and if it was just, you know, a real basic thing or an offhand comment once in a while, it'd be fine, but it isn't going to do well. You notice The Last Man Standing, that didn't do real well when he said something, so off we go, and actually I think it's starting up again on a different station, of which it should, but, you know, there's a double standard, and it just makes me absolutely crazy when they think that it's okay for their side to do stuff, but they don't want anything on the conservative side.
Absolutely. We have a caller with a question or comment. Caller, quickly, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
This is just an update of the hearing there. Senator Durbin and Senator Feinstein made it very, very adamant that there was thousands and thousands of people that have signed a petition or whatever in favor of Miss Ford. But these are people who don't even know her or anything. But they had to put that out there. But the way they've got this set up, that the the Republicans cannot say a word. The prosecutor lady that they have hired is the only one that can say anything.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up about those thousands of people, and Rita and I are going to talk about that right now. Thank you very much, Keith. I do appreciate your help on that. Thank you. You know, Rita, one of the things I read yesterday and I had on my program is that even here in the state of Idaho, up in Boise, there were a group of teenage girls, 15 years of age, that wrote a great big letter in support of Ms. Ford. Now, my question would be naturally, okay, what do you know about Ms. Ford that the rest of us don't know? Has her testimony been validated? Has everything that she is accused Mr. Kavanaugh of, has it been guaranteed and validated? None. Why are people so quick in this country, especially those that are of the liberal bent, to all of a sudden condemn a conservative and they're guilty? No matter what the facts are, they're guilty.
Well, that's exactly why, because they're conservative. There's, like I mentioned earlier, there's a double standard. Now, as he mentioned, they said they had thousands of people who had signed a petition in supporting her, and they knew that it had happened. I mean, he made it sound like they were all there. They knew it happened. Yeah. They signed their name, and any one of them could be called as a character witness, and da-da-da-da-da. That's baloney. And he made it sound like that's what it was, but all it was is these various offshoot groups, like maybe one from Boise, Idaho, that had about 24 names on it saying, "We support you," and it's just a bunch of baloney.
Well, the whole thing is that it's such a time waster. When we, the United States, have so much on our plate right now as far as national and international business, and what are we doing today? We're doing it right now ourselves. We're paying attention to a sleaze accusation, or accusations plural, that absolutely have no justification or any verification, and we're taking one side, listening to it, and then we're going to listen to the other side. Nothing is being done for the good of the country, and quite frankly, I find this to be absolutely appalling.
Well, I do too, and I've mentioned this over time, is that if people would spend as much time on good stuff, service, or serving their neighbor, or doing good things in the community, as they do politically trying to tear somebody down or do something that is just like, we just don't like it, so we're going to tear it down, instead of just going through the regular channels to make changes, it would be amazing. But there'd be so much good that happened because they were spending their time doing good instead of damaging stuff.
I agree. Oh, by the way, real quick story here I want you to comment on. Bill Cosby, of course, convicted of being a sexual predator at 81 years of age, sent to prison for 3 years. But guess, my dear, who is his mentor and helping him with advice on how to survive in prison? Well, it's none other than O.J. Simpson.
Oh, this ought to be really good. First of all, I don't think he needs to go to prison. They ought to put him in house arrest and leave him at home so our taxpayer money isn't taking care of him, and just let him stay there. He's under house arrest, so he can't really leave or go anywhere without them knowing. He can't be a hindrance to anybody else at his age. He's not going to cause a lot of issues, but if they put a bracelet on him or a wristband or an ankle band and say, you're staying here, he probably will, and that will be the end of it.
It's just so phony that you've got, he used to be known as America's dad, and now he's a bum. He's a worthless bum for what he's done to other people, and assisting him and helping him with advice, another bum, O.J. Simpson.
Absolutely, and I don't know all the circumstances, and I think if he really did what he did, that is really disgusting, but why would those ladies go with him to his motel room? They had other motives.
Yeah, the whole thing is another one of those, guess what, sleazy stories.
Yeah.
Got to run, Rita. Thank you so much for being on the program with us this morning, and we'll look forward to next Thursday. God bless.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you much. Right now, we've got to tell you, and I can guarantee this is my status right now, I'm hungry. I am really, really hungry, almost to the point of starving to death. I know some great places to go, like the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley. Listen to this. They've got that famous Farmer Brown burger. Have you ever had one of those? Oh, knock your boots off delicious, along with fries and that special sauce, and then choose maybe your favorite milkshake. Woo-hoo! We're talking good eating here, folks. AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Well, let's move over to Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Great place. People really get together with all their friends for the morning coffee, and then they have one of those great, big, delicious breakfast burritos with scrambled eggs, bacon, sausage, cheese, onions, tomatoes, sauce on a tortilla shell. I'm drooling. They are good. Taco Bandito with a great menu to serve you at 2301 Overland in Burley. Moving now to two locations of a great place to go eat. Burgers, etc. 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 Overland in Burley. Oh, my. They've got the Huckleberry Shakes. Yeah, Huckleberry Shakes. And they've got a ham and cheese combo after 3 p.m., only $4.99, including the sandwich, fries, and a drink. Woo, baby, it's great times, great eating with nice people serving you at Burgers, etc. in Rupert and Burley. Well, let's not forget, last but not least, Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 west of Hayburn. Food made the way you love it. Oh, they've got that new potato, that new spud, the cheesy broccoli spud. It is good. And the delicious buffalo burgers, and always really, really tasty salads. And they've got cupcakes. You're going to love the food. All the menu choices at Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 west of Hayburn. Food made the way you like it. And those are just a couple of great places to go when you're hungry and starving to death, which I am. So, we're going to take a little break and listen to the big boys from CBS News come in here, and then we're going to come back, and we've got Cassia County School Days, we've got all kinds of things. And at 10:30 this morning, author Rashad McCants. Don't miss his story. It's going to be a good one. See you in 7. Here we go into hour number 3. Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley. Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, with a great, big, huge fall tire sale going on right now. And, of course, some of our great advertisers, including Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Holy Holy cow. Oh, I want to mention before we go any further, our dear friends over at Syringa Plaza, a wonderful and affordable senior community right there in Burley, Idaho. And Syringa Plaza serves low-income seniors who maintain an independent living status with or without assistance. And they've got wonderful apartments, senior residential affordable housing community, independent living, no application fee, and find out more. I tell you what, just find out more about this wonderful place, Syringa Plaza. And it's located at 626 Elba Avenue in Burley. Now, the number, write this down, 677 4204. 208-677-4204. Syringa Plaza, taking care and serving you. Oh, my. Let's see what else have we got. We're going to go to Cassia County School Days in just a few moments. And to the little kitten that decided to climb into a bag out in my barn last night. And it's a bag that we throw like baling twine and anything else in. I reached in there to grab something last night, and that cat ran up my sleeve, and I'm going to guarantee you one thing. The cat or the bag or the contents have not been seen since. I mean, there it is, just about dusk, and I reached down in the bottom, and all of a sudden, wow, and up my arm goes that cat. And I'd like to say that the cat is in good health and all is well, but I don't know because we haven't seen the cat since. Oh, my goodness sakes. We are about ready to go to Cassia County School Days, and we're very fortunate to have our sponsor, A Child's World. Wonderful, wonderful people with all the new fall clothing, and, you know, they do all the gift wrapping for free, and they carry also the Cherokee scrubs, very, very comfortable, and, of course, all the games and the puzzles and the toys and the baby furniture, everything there, a family store at A Child's World. 1308 Overland in Burley. We're very fortunate to have them on the program this morning. And we're very fortunate to have this lady come back and be on our program because she is the ag science teacher at Cassia High School and a former teacher of the year within the Cassia district. And I understand she was invited to attend the National Teach Ag Day celebration in Iowa. Whoa, she's got a lot to talk about. Jason Fillmore, how are you?
Good, thanks, Deb. I always love being on your show, so appreciate it.
Well, not as much as we are very thankful to have you. It sounds like you have got a lot of things to tell us this morning. What was it like at the National Teach Ag Day celebration?
It was a great honor to be asked this year. It's through the National Association of Ag Educators, professional organization. They put on a celebration every year just to promote the career of teaching agriculture and to thank our wonderful partners and supporters that help put the word out there about this career. So I was asked as one of 3 teacher spotlight speakers and got to address a live audience in Iowa as well as the live webcast for, they said, thousands of viewers. So that was pretty cool.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit. What did you tell them that maybe they didn't know?
I just got to share my story about teaching agriculture at Cassia Alternative High School and what a great opportunity it's been to be able to educate these students about the wonderful industry of ag, especially students who might not have thought of that as a choice for their future or had any exposure to it. And just told about that being a teacher, one thing I said was that I'm a teacher of students first, and agriculture is my vehicle that I use in order to reach those students, and just shared my passion for this career.
I remember, Jason, when I had you on the first time, and your personality, your drive, and your absolute wanting to excel at everything you do as a teacher was absolutely obvious. What about your students? What did they think about their teacher, not only a former teacher of the year, but speaking to a national audience?
Well, one of them just told me, "Man, Mrs. Fillmore, you're famous." So they think it's pretty cool. They were watching in class with my substitute teacher while I was giving my address, and so they thought it was pretty neat that I was talking about them and to them from half a country away. It was pretty neat.
Let me ask you this. When they get together in Iowa, which is known as the hub of farming in the Midwest, for the National Teach Ag Day celebration, what did you take away from it? I know you shared a lot of your experiences, but what did you take away from it?
The event was hosted at Corteva AgriScience, which is the AgriScience division of Dow DuPont, and I really I love going on industry tours and meeting with industry professionals, and it was neat to hear their stories and how their experiences in FFA and ag education impacted their future. So we got to hear from anybody who'd been raised on a farm and had been in agriculture all their life to somebody who had never thought of agriculture as a career and got exposed to it during college in the research lab and was able to make a career out of it in an agri-science company. So it gave me it felt really good for them to thank us as ag teachers for what we do, and also to hear how sometimes we don't always hear how what we do impacts students in their future because we only have them for a short period of time. So it's nice to hear what we do as ag teachers carries on into the future.
Jason, let me ask you this. I'm very concerned about agriculture for the future. I think that there are a couple of entities, energy being one of them, that has overlooked agriculture. I think some of these people that are saying, we've got to have solar and we've got to have wind power, but they fail to realize how the crops are going to get planted, harvested, etc. You're not going to put a propeller on the back of a John Deere and push it down a 100-acre field. What are your thoughts about how I think agriculture is being overlooked for the future? What are your thoughts?
I think a lot of us that grew up, even in this area or this state, we just remember agriculture as being dusty and dirty and, old tractors with long days and hard work. And I've been teaching a class here at Casual High School called STEM in Ag, and STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. And I've been able, over the last 6 weeks, to expose students to all of the innovations and the new things that are happening in agriculture. Just today, we visited AgriService over in Hayburn, and they showed us how the cab of a tractor has more computers in it than most people realize. So it's really opened the eyes of my students to the fact that they don't have to come from an ag background. If they're good with technology and have a passion for agriculture, they definitely have a future in this industry. I think that new take on the industry, the current status of the industry, gets overlooked a lot of times.
Let's talk about that just for a second. You're exposing students that maybe did not come from an ag family or ag background to agriculture, and boy, that's going to be is it a tough sale? I mean, do people really care about their food at the grocery store, where it came from, how the work was involved to put the crops there into the store shelf? Do they really care, or what kind of a process is it to try to get people to understand?
That's what I do every single day. I make people care, and so it starts off with 8th and 9th grade students talking about just why do you care about agriculture, and teaching them about all the different aspects. It's our food, obviously, we all eat. It's our fuel. We have an ethanol plant right in our backyard in Burley. It's our fiber that we use to build things. It's industry. It's our clothing. That's a big part of it, is just teaching students what agriculture is, why it's important. And then I get to dive into it more, and we grow food and raise animals right here at school. We've got garden plots that students adopt over the summer, and they get a credit for raising food in that garden all summer. My students show rabbits at the Casual County Fair, and we raise them right here at school. So showing them, giving them those hands-on experiences, so it's not just something they see as they're driving past the field, is what I'm all about.
Jason, one of the worries I've had, and I'm a lot older than you are, but it's a concern. I'm hearing too many of these groups, offshoot radical environmental groups, etc., PETA and others, that are trying to eliminate animal agriculture. As a teacher, how would you combat them and fight against their wishes?
Oh, yeah, it's a big deal. On Facebook, a viral video that's shocking and emotional can be shared millions of times in a short span of time. And students come to me and they'll say, "Hey, Ms. Silmer, I saw this video on Facebook about how bad dairy is," and they're saying that FFA and 4-H kids are terrorists for raising fair animals. And so I show them in class, and we pause the video and talk about it. And I say, this is what they said. Let's find out the truth. I invite guest speakers. We go on field trips. So to really teach students, and then I get to hear them at the end say, like that wasn't true. And so they get to have that experience of determining what's fake news, and what is the truth that's spread. And they become advocates. They can post on a YouTube video, this is a lie. Don't post this online. Even at 14, 15 years old, they can become, in ag, we like to call them advocates, advocate for the agricultural industry.
But what you just said right there is absolutely excellent, but there's a caveat there. What about our society that isn't exposed to agriculture and they just take what the media and what groups like PETA and others say as gospel? How are we going to stop from preaching to our choir to get out and make them understand?
It's an everyday struggle, and I just encourage anyone who's got ties to agriculture to use your resources. So you could be sitting at your agricultural job out in the field on the tractor and post on Twitter or make a YouTube video and share it on Facebook. People need to be willing to share their story, and we're seeing a lot more of that in agriculture, trying to teach my students to do that as well. We teach them public speaking skills and how to relate to the public at the fair. We're fortunate in this area. We don't have to combat a lot of that. But even, not very far away in Pocatello, I've been involved with high school rodeo, and there was protesters at high school rodeo a few years ago. And those kids, I was super proud of those kids that went up and said, what questions do you have? Can I tell you about how I treat my livestock? And these are just teenagers. So I think starting young and teaching these kids to be advocates, whether they're involved in agriculture or not, is important. But then they take that message home to their parents, their grandparents, their followers on social media, and we have to. Another big part of it is we've got to, as a country, place more emphasis on agricultural education and get programs that teach students about agriculture in every single school, maybe even down to the elementary school level, which educates the teachers as well as the students.
Let me ask you this question, Jasa. Here we are, 2018. What about 2020? What about 2025? What about 2030? What do you think are going to be some of the big stories or maybe big problems that are going to confront agriculture?
I think space and resources. We are increasing our population. They're projecting 9.7 billion people by the year 2050. Our land is not getting any bigger. We've got to build more housing to house those people and more industry, but we also have to leave room to grow crops. So even up to like local planning and zoning boards, are we designating more land as commercial use versus agricultural use? Are we taking acres out of production? And then technology. We need to be advocating for farmers and producers and ranchers to be using technology to be more sustainable and be able to produce more with less, and also make an income at the same time. So sometimes it's easy to get bogged down by messages like organic agriculture is the only way to go, and that's one thing I teach my students about. Like, it's great, it's fine, it's just one way of production, and there's certainly a niche market. But if we produced all our food that way, we certainly wouldn't have enough. So
absolutely,
that's our challenge going forward, is just how do we use our resources in order to provide for our growing population.
But it's not only the students that you have to educate. You just kind of touched on it. I mean, the P&Z, planning and zoning boards, the county commissioners, everybody else, they've got to realize, it's great to welcome all these businesses in, but not at the expense of putting concrete over a great field that raises alfalfa, corn, and barley.
Right, because we need that to feed livestock, to provide fuel, and to feed us.
Well, I really appreciate your coming on the program. And anything else you want to talk about the National Teach Ag Day celebration back in Iowa? I really compliment you on being able to speak back there.
Thank you very much. I would just encourage people to Google it online, and they're going to post an archive of the celebration of the day, and then I'm sure our school district website share out the video of my speech that I just want everybody to hear, because I'm passionate about my career. It's not about me. It's about using ag ed to impact students, and also just to get involved in your local school. There are alternative schools. We're always looking for people that are willing just to come in and be mentors, be guest speakers. We have an assembly every Friday. We'd love to have people from the community come in and connect with students.
Absolutely.
Get involved.
Absolutely. Jason Fillmore, God bless you. Thank you so much. Ag science teacher at Cassia High School, former teacher of the year for the Cassia District. God bless you and come back soon. I'll look forward to it.
Thank you, Zeb. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you very, very much. Wow. She's exciting, and she's enthusiastic about what she does, and I'm sure that goes right in hand to her students. I love that kind of a person on this program. Don't forget that Cassia County School Day is brought to you by our friends at A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. Everything for the family, for the wee ones, all the baby furniture, baby clothing. They've got all the Cherokee scrubs. They've got all the new fall clothes out, and they gift wrap for free always at A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. Really, really nice people. Holy cow, I want to remind you, too, that for our next lunch bunch in October, we're going to have our Halloween lunch bunch, and we want you to wear a costume. We're going to have some special prizes to give away to those that come to the lunch bunch all decked out for Halloween. And let's see, I think we chose the date. Let me take a look here so you can mark it on your calendar. October 25th, Thursday, October 25th. And that'll be Lunch Bunch at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner. Don't you forget it. Right now, we're going to go via the phone line to another great guy, and I want to see if he's still the Milwaukee Brewers fan that I thought he was, and that's Juan over at Berry Equipment and Rental. Good morning, Juan. How you doing?
Good morning, Zeb. How you doing?
Okay, here's the situation. The Brewers playing good baseball. My Cubs, not so good as of late, just kind of hanging on by their fingernails. The Cardinals playing good baseball. Are you still thinking that your Brewers are going to win that division?
Well, they'll probably do what they've done to me in the past years, get my hopes up, and then let me down in the last second.
Well, I agree with you. Well, I tell you what, you chose I didn't think they'd be that good this year, but they are, and they've been giving my Cubs a run for the money, so I just hope that maybe I can call you next week after the season ends and go, nah.
It's going to be a tight race. We'll see how it ends.
All right. Hey, tell us what's going on right now for the fall at Berry Equipment and Rental.
Well, I actually just got done demoing an E35 excavator right now for a customer of mine. And the reason why he's excited for it is because right now we still have the 0% financing up to 60 months on all Bobcat equipment. And just to add a little bit more to it, 2-year warranties for free.
Holy cow. Now, say that again. 0% interest for 60 months?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's on all the Bobcat equipment that we have. That goes from anything from excavators, tracks, skidsters, wheel skidsters, little MT skidsters, all of the Bobcat equipment, 0% financing for 60 months.
Oh, my goodness. You know, tell us, you've done this before, but walk us through. I'm sure that there's people out in the audience that have never leased equipment before. They don't know what to do. Maybe they need a Bobcat to kind of work up some new kind of landscaping in their backyard or whatever, and they're a little hesitant about coming in and saying, oh, I've never run one before. What do they do? Give us kind of a walkthrough there.
Yeah, just come in and to our Burley location. Ask for one if you need any guidance with any equipment on what you need, and if you need help on learning how to drive it, I'll help you out with all of it. It's not just me. We got some pretty good yard guys right now that if I'm not there and you want to know how to run it, they'll take you down to the pit and teach you how to run every single equipment that we have.
You know, give us kind of a spectrum of all the equipment that you have for lease or sale at Berry Equipment and Rental.
We have anything up to down to a 3400 side-by-side made by Bobcat all the way up to a 15,000-pound unit on our E85 excavator. Everything between excavators, side-by-side, skidsters, track skidsters, mini track skidsters that are actually it's a popular item right now with all my landscape companies.
Oh, my.
We also still have we have it all.
Well, I'll tell you what, every time I've had you on the program, you've always been really forthright and upfront about everything that's going on at Berry Equipment and Rental. And 159 West Highway 30 is your location. What are your hours over there?
We are 8 to 5, Monday through Friday.
And, of course, you start at 8 o'clock, and I'm assuming that at 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls with Eli, because he likes to sleep in, do they open up later, or is it still 8 to 5?
Eli is get in early, get out early, so they actually open at 7:30, and they leave at 5:30.
Oh, my goodness sakes. And then you've also got the Napa location. And a lot of people don't realize, along with rentals, you also have the sale of equipment, too, right?
Yes, all of our equipment. And you know what? It's just not new. If you want to buy one of our used equipment, the ones that we rent out, those are for sale as well.
And tell us in the time remaining, I got about a minute left here or so, football season, how's Juan doing as a coach?
Pretty good. We're undefeated right now. Minico's 6-0. We make the trip to Preston on Friday, so that should be a pretty good one.
You know, Preston's always had a good sports team, so I wish Minico and you as one of the football coaches. What are you, a defensive coach or what?
I'm an offensive coach. I coach the wide receivers.
Oh, my goodness sakes. That's what they turned my grandson into this year because he had arm problems after that broken arm, and he's a wide receiver for Kimberly, so I can relate to what you're doing.
Oh, yeah. No, I read the stat line when they played Burley, and he had a day.
Okay. Listen, Juan, what are the hours over there again at Berry Equipment and Rental? Tell everybody because you're there to serve them.
Mm-hmm. Well, the store is open 7:30 to 5:30 Monday through Friday, and we'll have everyone there between then. If I'm not there, you guys can reach me at 208-312-4417. And I will make sure I'm there to help you out with any of the needs.
I'll tell you what, this is a great guy. He's been a good friend of this program for a long time. Juan over at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley with Berry Equipment and Rental. Thanks, Juan. God bless, and have a great football season.
God bless. Go Brewers.
All right. I knew he was going to get that in. All right. Thanks, Juan. Talk to you later. Thank you much. Oh, he's quite the sports fan over there and does a good job, too. In a couple of minutes, we are going to have a gentleman on the phone that played for the University of North Carolina Tar Heels. As a matter of fact, he played on their championship team they had back in 2005. I remember him when he played for the Tar Heels. His name is Rashad McCants, and he's going to be on talking about a brand new book that he has just finished called Plantation Education, The Exploitation of the Modern Day Athlete Student. Should be really interesting, and I'm looking forward to having him on the air. But right now, we're going to send it back over to Wheels at our main studio. We'll be back in about 3 minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Welcome back to our last half hour. Thank you very much. And right now, we're going to go to the phone line, and I'm very honored to have this gentleman on our show this morning that has just written the book called Plantation Education, The Exploitation of the Modern-Day Athlete Student, and the author, Rashad McCants. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for having me in.
You know, I got to tell you, I remember you when you played for North Carolina on that championship team in 2005, and it's my honor to have you on the show. And congratulations for a great career you had in basketball.
I appreciate it. It's an honor to be a part of the show with you guys, and glad you guys are happy to talk about the book.
Well, let's go ahead, Rashad, and give me kind of a thumbnail sketch, if you would, about what the book is about and what you want the reader to realize. Give us kind of a sketch of it.
Well, the overall sketch basically highlights the mentality of the athlete and how the college athlete gains this mentality and how the mentality embraces him, harnesses him, and holds him back. And that same mentality is the cause of a lot of the most important topics today, which is compensation for athletes, education for athletes. So the book highlights all of those things.
Rashad, let me ask you this right up from the get-go. You say holds them back, to use your words. I guess I'm a little confused to some degree because these college athletes, and believe me, I'm on your side on most of the conversation this morning, but colleges are offering scholarships for these athletes to come not only and play for their university, but also to get their education. Where is the problem from being an athlete to trying to get your education?
Well, the problem is I went to the University of North Carolina for 3 years. And in those 3 years, prior to the whole time I was there has been a setup to basically pass along athletes, 5-star, 4-star athletes, not giving them any real education, making sure that they can play so that the university can get paid, so that the coach can get paid, so that the athletic program can get paid. Everyone gets paid except for the athlete. So if that's not a problem to anyone, then slavery is not a problem to anyone. So we should might as well just, usher it all back in and keep everything back, making America great again back then like they said it was. But that's not the case. So it's something bigger. Everyone knows there's something wrong with it, but everyone's scared to talk about it.
Right. It is a subject that people leave alone. I agree with you. We have a kind of a faulty phone connection here, Rashad, so I'm going to ask you to speak up as loud as you can, and I'm going to ask my engineer to elevate the volume when you're talking. Is this problem really just a racial item, or is everybody that goes to school, regardless of their race, are they subjected to this problem?
Well, I mean, that is a very easy question to answer because it's definitely down to race for sure. The prejudice that comes along in sports alone has everything to do with the Willie Lynch letter, the bucking of the slave and breaking of the slave. You have to break these black athletes down so that they don't have any kind of complex, authority complex. This happens. You don't have to do that with white players because white players naturally in the environment that they're brought up in understand submission, they understand authority. The black community, they do not. We understand doing things the way we want to do them and get them done the way we want to get them done. So there's a clash at all times during this debate.
Let me ask you, if we were to change the rules today and the NCAA would change and say, okay, if they're going to go to school and they're going to make these schools millions and millions of dollars on TV contracts and everything else, and they need to share the revenue with the players, what would happen? I mean, is it feasible? Is it possible? What would happen?
What would happen is we would still have athletes and black American youth that still can't read at a third grade reading level. We would still have broke athletes who lose all their money by the third year. We would still have a discrepancy of unemployment in the black community due to lack of leadership. So it's not about paying the athletes. It's about giving them the equal benefit of taking care of themselves for the rest of their lives, setting them up like you would set up a doctor or a lawyer or a businessman, where you have a foundation to come fall back on, and that's not available for the athletes.
Okay, now you say it's not available, Rashad, so explain this to me. What is not being given, provided, or is being coached to these athletes to make sure that they get their education or demand their education?
Well, the difference right now is you have two great questions, but the question is, what education are we getting? What is America teaching the youth? We sit in the same classroom for 100 years. We learn the history for 100 years. We still don't know how to use our computers. We still don't know how to maximize our budget and our banking systems. The things we're being taught are not the things that are going to help us in the future. So we need to take a real good look at how many workers we have in the world, how many owners we have in the world, how many billionaires we have in the world, how many broke people don't have even $2,000 in their bank account. That's a discrepancy that starts with school. It starts with education. It starts with our youth. So if we don't tackle that now, everyone's going to be working for someone they never met that just owns everything and has been given to them.
No.
That's the situation we're looking at.
Rashad, okay, I'm not trying to ask you to give away anything of real importance that you want people to read in the book, but what are some of the answers to those questions? How can we change this so that schools aren't making all the money and the college athletes, they show up, they take the bumps and the bruises, they don't get paid, and yet they're still not getting their education? What can we do? I want to know because I think it needs to be changed.
Yes. I say we need to stop changing things and let's create new things. So what I've came up with in the book is a performance-based system for the athlete to be judged on his performance and his progression and his results while he's in college. And during those progressions, he can be paid upon seeing the results. And that payment system can come through credit card, can come through trust, can come through compensation, through percentages of the royalties or the endorsement deals that come in. It can be given away like a Pell Grant, same way we get already, but just a little bit more. And we wouldn't have the requirement of going to different classes that do nothing for us, you know, things that doesn't benefit us. I know there are a lot of people that went to college for certain things. I'm not going to put you on the spot, but I'm sure that people who went to college for one thing and they're doing something totally different feel something about school. And they feel something like, I wasted a couple years doing this when I'm out here doing this now. So that's the dynamic now. We want athletes to play sports.
You know, let me ask you, what could we do today to create a better money management, better career management, better education management system in the colleges? I know, and I agree with you, that many athletes, I don't care what race they are being manipulated and used by the colleges to enhance the sports program, and really their education is secondary, and something has got to change. I agree with you.
Absolutely, absolutely, and we're not gonna pinpoint this thing to be a race issue in the forefront as a foundation. We're just gonna say that it plays a part. There are definitely a lot of white athletes that have been taken advantage of in the same system, 100,000%. So the base percentage of what we wanted to create for the athlete is to be able to take the percentages of this allocated funds and be able to put it in the trust. And if you can't do that, then there's no need for the NCAA. You have the JBA. LeVar Ball started the JBA. He pays his guys $5,000 to $10,000 a month, and they play for 3-4 months, and then they get prepared for the NBA draft. The thing that's missing is sports education, the budgeting, the finance, the real-life things that you're going to deal with the moment you turn a professional. The moment you become a pro, there are things that in the book that doesn't show you what's going to happen. And every single athlete hits that wall.
Okay, now, let me back up a minute, Rashad, if I may, and ask you this. Not everybody is going to go into the NBA. Not everybody is going to have a chance to be that Michael Jordan or Rashad McCants. Maybe they'd better consider, after that last basketball or football game, that if they're studying to be a doctor, they'd better make sure that they have their studies in line, or a lawyer, or whatever. And that's the part that I'm concerned about. I don't think enough of these athletes look at other aspects of education, and they're thinking too much about the pro career. Am I wrong?
Yes, I think you are. I think you are only because the athlete still wants to stay in the sports industry. The athlete always wants to stay in the sports industry. But the sports industry is filled with people who have no experience in the sports industry because these jobs are being given out on who we know, relationships, and resources. So we want to implement sports education where guys who's talking about sports are guys who actually played college sports, guys who are doing money management, guys who are doing sports medicine. Anybody who's doing anything in sports actually went to school for it, and they have validation and certification for it. Now, that is a whole different industry that doesn't exist. So it would be better for coaches, GMs, agents of all like that have experience and actually played the sport or been around it long enough to actually have real expertise in it.
How do we go about implementing perhaps your thoughts and ideas that are in the book called The Plantation Education, the Exploitation of the Modern Day Athlete Student? How can this be implemented and started, whether it's at North Carolina, whether it's at USC? What can be done and what should be done?
I think the first thing that should be done is everyone get the book, read the book, Plantation Education on Amazon.com. That's the first step. Because whether you agree with what me and you are talking about right now, that doesn't matter at all. If you read the book and it gives you insight and information to change or sway your opinion, then we can start acting. More people read the book, the more people are going to get enraged. They're going to be upset. They're going to want to create a new place as well. That's all it is about, giving people options. The athlete doesn't have an option to get real education. Let's give them one.
Boy, I couldn't agree more, because there's got to be something to fall back on. I had a very good friend that played 3 years in the NFL, and great big money signing, bonus signing contract, etc. And then he tore up his knee and had nothing to fall back on. I couldn't agree with you more. What about the current status of athletes today? Are these options more available to them, or is it still the same old, same old?
It's still the same old, man. Guys are dropping like flies. It's just not being, told all over the media and the television at the moment. But the average life expectancy in both the NFL and the NBA are 2 to 4 years. That's 2 to 4 years. Every year you got 1 million players fighting for 200 spots, 300 spots. And you're talking about millions of kids every year, training for three or four spots. And they don't understand the percentages. The percentages are saying you need a plan B. The coach is not telling them that because the coach is worried about getting his check.
Yeah.
We're being misled.
This book, I've got to get it. I've got to read it, and I really commend you on writing Plantation Education, the Exploitation of the Modern-Day Athlete Student. Where, again, can the book be purchased? Tell us that.
Right now, the book can be purchased on Amazon.com. Type in Plantation Education. It can be shipped to you in a matter of days. And I just hope everyone checks it out, give a review, and at least just read the first chapter. I ask everybody, if you don't read it, read the first chapter. You'll love it.
All right. Let me ask you a personal question, if I may. And I can't remember. I'm an old man, and I'm trying to place this back about 13 years ago. Did you play for Dean Smith before he retired?
No, sir, I did not.
Did you have a chance to get to know the man?
No, sir, I did not. He was beyond his years by the time we all got there.
And I'm trying to remember, who was your head coach at that time, sir?
My freshman year, Matt Doherty was my head coach, and he was fired, and then Roy Williams took over for my last 2 years.
Roy Williams came in from Kansas, isn't that correct?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'll tell you what. Give me the highlight and the low light in your basketball career. I just want people to realize what a great player you were and how you are very valid in writing this book.
I'd say the highlight of my college career had to be playing against number 1 UConn my sophomore year and hitting the game winner in that game. We weren't ranked at all. We were on the come up, and I hit the game winner for that shot. And that pretty much solidified my greatness for myself, to be able to hit a shot that big with that much on the line. And the lows probably had to be my freshman year. Matt Doherty told me that he would do everything in his power to make sure I don't become the next Michael Jordan. That was probably my lowest moment.
Oh, my goodness. That had to be devastating to have a coach tell you that.
Yeah, especially before you're trying to actually get there. So it was kind of demoralizing to see that I had the potential to be that and that someone wanted to stop me from doing that. That was the whole reason I was at Carolina, was to be better than him, for somebody to tell me that they were going to cut that completely out. I had to kind of reconvene and try to figure out how to beat this guy.
Absolutely. Rashad McCants, I salute you for your effort and your book called again, The Plantation Education, the Exploitation of the Modern-Day Athlete Student. Thank you for coming on. I wish you all kinds of success, and thanks for time on the program this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir. Rashad McCants, remember, I do remember him playing for North Carolina, the Tar Heels, when they won the championship, the NCAA championship in 2005. I remember some of the people that played with him, including Raymond Felton and Quentin Thomas, Rashad McCants, of course, a forward and a guard, Sean May, others. They had quite a basketball team. And Roy Williams, I could not remember if Roy Williams was the coach then or if it was still Dean Smith. And I appreciate Rashad McCants being on the program here this morning. Right now, after I got kind of tongue-tied there for a minute trying to find my papers, here we go. We're ready for a weather forecast, and the weather brought to you by Scarrows Meats at 331 North Road, Jerome. Number to call, 324-7657, or you can go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com. Absolutely delicious meats, like the marinated pork ribs, and, of course, all the tri-tips, and, of course, they've got all the beef, pork, and chicken packages for you to do. Still time for early fall barbecues. Absolutely delicious at Scarrows Meats. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
We're going to have another beautiful day here in the valley as we do get closer to the weekend. Here's a look at your weather forecast for Zebeth Ranch. Sunny skies, and we are expecting a high of 77 today. Winds are going to be light out of the west, right around 6 miles an hour. Winds could gust as high as 20 miles an hour today. Tonight, mostly clear skies with a low of 43. Tomorrow, even better. Expecting sunny skies with a high of 82. Mostly clear for Friday night, expecting a low of 45. By Saturday, mostly sunny with a high of 83. Saturday night, some clouds are going to be rolling into the valley. We're expecting a low of 51. Partly sunny and 70 for Sunday. And as we go back to work on Monday, mostly sunny and 74. That's your weather for Zebeth Ranch.
And thank you very much, Gina. Brought to everybody by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road in Jerome, 324-7657, the number to call. Remember, Scarrows Meats, changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. I got to tell you, earlier in the hour, I told you about how I reached into an old grain sack and a kitten ran up my arm the other evening. Well, that wasn't as bad, and I'm almost afraid to admit this, but last night I yelled and screamed like a little girl. I was going out to feed my steers, and I went around the corner by the barn, and I stepped on a snake. And the snake decided that he would show his complete disregard for me and my emotions and wrapped himself around my foot. Now, for those of you that know me and I'm on crutches, I must have ran probably 100 yards, and then I had to go back and get my crutches because I forgot them. I have never in my life had a snake wrap itself around my foot and ankle. Now, I know it wasn't that big a snake. It was only about maybe a little less than 2 feet long. But there he was, attached to my leg. I didn't like that. It wasn't natural. But I will say he helped in the healing process. I didn't know I could run that fast. Wheels, have you had any confrontation with things that bothered you like snakes do sometimes to me?
I don't like snakes. I've never liked snakes, especially with the way that they can suffocate you when they want to.
Well, I'll tell you what, he didn't suffocate me. He healed me, kind of like a Jimmy Swaggart deal there for a while. I'll tell you, I ran.
Well, healing is always a good thing.
Yep. Hey, we got a call? I'll take that call real quick. Thank you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Well, good morning. You're about to say.
I can't hardly hear you. What?
Right. Healthy.
The connection's really bad. I'm not hearing the person on the air. Go ahead, try it one more time.
We let them crawl on our hands and arms and within reason, no rattlers or anything, no dangerous, no poisonous. But I mean, water snakes, grass snakes, yeah, they're good. I've always liked snakes since I was a kid. What's the matter? They're going to hurt you.
Okay, lady, thank you. You've showed me up. I'm just nothing but a crybaby wuss. I didn't like the snake wrapped around my leg. I'm sorry. I'll try to be bigger the next time. I'll try to be John Wayne.
you're not a wuss, and I'm not showing up. I'm just saying us women. There's a lot of women that are not afraid of snakes, and I'm one of them.
Okay.
So you have a super day.
All right. God bless you. No, I tell you what, that's something that I just never really cared for that much. Snakes. All right. Fall tire sale. Now, you're not going to get scared about this. You're not going to run. You're not going to... This is something great. You better get into all 7 of the Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. They've got all the tires you need, absolutely, for your car, pickup, SUV, trailers, etc. And tires like for your pickup and SUV, the backcountry all-terrain, all-season tread, advanced noise reduction. Oh, yeah, on sale. Or for your cars, the Eclipse tire. Premium traction, superior ride quality, on sale. Check it out today. Stop into any one of the 7 Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. The best in brake service, front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries. Oh my! But also the best in service. Really, really nice people. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family over in Paul, they're a great family, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Yes, I'm telling you, all 7 locations with a big fall tire sale, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Gotta run. It's it for the week. Enjoy high school football this weekend, whoever you're cheering for. And don't forget, we'll be back here on Monday at 8:06, Zebeth Ranch, where we always say the way things were are the way things ought to be. And the world needs more cowboys. Have a great weekend. Be safe. God bless.